President Trump's former staff secretary, Rob Porter, has been all over the news since he resigned from the White House last week. Porter, a Mormon, as it says here in this post by KUER.org, left his position after his two ex-wives accused him of being physically abusive.
Yeah.
It has been since revealed that both of these women confided in their Mormon bishops about the abuse and were encouraged to remain in their relationships. That's not good advice, people.
No.
Here's the thing. A bunch of people have been like, they're untrained in how to deal with abuse. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
they're
untrained in everything.
It's not their training that fucking matters here. It's the fact that it's about women in ownership. It's about women as property, and that's what their ultimate goal is. All right.
Oh, if you want your stomach to really turn, Mormon Leaks posted the counseling video for the senior presidency of the church talking to new bishops about what they're to do if they suspect abuse.
Oh, interesting.
And it's usually doesn't involve the police at all. It actually suggests don't go to the police.
It does not.
Yeah. You have to check it out. It was like 20 minutes and it was turning my fucking stomach. I'm like, oh,
I will not be checking that out because I have PTSD and it very will likely trigger me. And
so since we're talking
like being triggered.
Since we're talking therapy, let's talk about this local therapist, Dr. Julie de Azevedo Hanks, which is a weird punctuation to the Acevedo thing. It's like Acevedo Hanks, like
I mean, yeah,
whatever, lady. I mean, cool. But she specializes in women's emotional health and relationships. She's also Mormon, and she says, unfortunately, the experiences of Colby Holderness and Ginny Willoughby, which are Rob Porter's ex-wives, are not unique.
Nope.
As she says here. She says, I've heard stories of Mormon women being counseled to stay with their spouse even when there is abuse present, she said. What women need to be hearing is that they're believed when this kind of thing happens. And she continues on, women may also minimize the abuse when they're reporting it.
No, you do. You so do. Because you're made to believe that you're crazy. Okay?
Yeah.
So for somebody to finally say to me, that sounds like abuse, took me forever for me to believe it. So, like, somebody has to believe you. Somebody has to be like, that's fucking abuse. All right? Are you hearing me? That's fucking abuse. And it messes with your head. It does.
And the fucked up thing about Mormon churches is, like, the bishop's not a separate person from other people within the congregation. They're usually people within the neighborhood. They're usually friends with a lot of the men that are in the group. I mean, it's a community. It really is.
And they go to priesthood meetings.
Yeah.
They interact primarily with the men and not the women in their community. It's interesting how that works.
And so it comes down to a question of whose narrative a church leader gives more weight to in this kind of thing. And so when I said that women minimize the abuse when they're reporting it, usually it's worse than what they're usually saying. And
it is. It is so much worse than what you're saying. As somebody who's been through it, you minimize it because there's other people have it worse. And I mean, there's a lot that's normal, right? Couples fight.
Yeah.
Couples fight.
Oh yeah.
No,
if you don't, you're not in a normal couple, man.
Right. So like, yeah, couples fight, but most couples don't end up with the woman in a puddle crying on the ground, apologizing when she had started the conversation with, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. And then she ends up apologizing. That's not how fights go. Like, and I don't just mean like, hey, I'm sorry for this thing. I mean, desperate tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Wow, that got real.
Let me take it from you. So
let's just do something funny.
She says here, women are also testing the water, so they need permission and someone to question how bad it is. Yeah. Because we're not talking about marriage problems. We're talking about a crime.
They're so afraid, you guys. The fear is so real.
And then she goes on to continue here. She says, he is a spiritual guide and not an expert in anything else. I would question whether he's an expert in that.
I would question whether he's an expert in anything.
Like, literally anyone can be a spiritual guide. I can be a spiritual guide. Let me give you some mushrooms. Trust me.
Well, they also give you a book. You know, not the Book of Mormon. They also give you like a desk reference manual that the bishop is supposed to use to help people out with these things. So
yeah, the desk manual says don't tolerate abuse. It doesn't define abuse.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. And so it says here that too often bishops think that everything is a spiritual problem when it's not.
spiritual problem with her.
They're not the therapist, they're not their marriage counselor, and they're not their physician. And so that
Funny thing,
this lady is doing a really good job
with this too.
She's doing a really good job of reminding Mormons out there that your bishop is just a ecclesiastical leader.
Mm-hmm.
He is not your marriage counselor. Don't go to him with marriage problems because he's probably going to tell you the wrong fucking thing to do.
He's going to side
not
with
your
you,
doctor.
What he's going to do because the Mormon church is patriarchal at its core. He's going to tell you, he's going to side with the dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to tell you to blow him more is what he's going to tell you.
And so she says that she implores Mormon clients not to give away their personal power. She says a bishop's local authority can be respected at the same time that an individual's personal authority is adhered to. As an active Mormon, Hanks admits that she was embarrassed that these bishops knew what they did know and they didn't do more. To all the other women who have been in their shoes, she says it's okay to be angry. She said that anger is justified.
Yep.
People have been wronged. People have been under-supported in the system, and it needs to stop. I'm excited that
anger is your power. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you need to just forgive and move on. No, you are allowed to be angry. You're allowed to say that
you're angry for a reason. You're angry for a reason.
Your emotions fucking matter.
Yeah, I've had things that have come up in my personal life where I am willing to move past them.
Yeah,
but I'm never gonna fucking forget it. You know.
Yeah.
There are things that you can. There are flaws in a person that you can accept, and then there are things that you cannot. And abuse is not acceptable. And you know what? You know what? I'm an extremist in this one. Get the fuck out. Do you know how hard it is for an abuser to stop being an abuser? Do you know how rare it is? It takes
How hard is it for people to stop breathing air? I mean,
it can happen. I've been told it can happen by people who are way more educated than me. They tell me that that abusers can change, but it takes years of therapy. It takes a ton of work, and the first fucking thing they have to do is admit that they're a fucking abuser. And you know what? That is so fucking rare, and it doesn't have to happen with you in that marriage. That's their journey. You deserve to get the fuck out. You deserve it. Women and men. You know what? I've heard of men in emotionally abusive relationships too. Get the fuck out. That's their journey, not yours.
And so she finishes up here saying, I'm so excited these conversations are happening because what it does is raise awareness, and it's good if it scares people too. And she says a great outcome from all of this would be that bishops to simply counsel less and refer to the experts more when they hear accounts of abuse. But they won't. They never will.
No, they won't.
Like I said, Mormon Leaks has a 20-minute video out there of call this hotline, that kind of thing.
They need to keep their women. Let's be clear. The reason women are treated as possessions is because they need the women. You always need the women. The Mormons need them to procreate.
Yeah.
And the thing is that women who get out of abusive relationships tend to get out of the fucking religion too. Because they leave their controllers. They leave the ones who are telling them what to do, and they find their independence in their voice.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't call that fucking hotline. If anybody listening happens to be in an abuse situation and also happens to be Mormon, don't call that hotline looking for help, because you know where that hotline goes?
It goes to the Mormon lawyers.
It goes to it goes to the Mormon law firm.
And they will protect the bishops and the men. Yeah. They always do. We have evidence of that.
Oh, the church overall. The church over everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the church, but for the church to be protected, they have to protect the men.
Right.
They have to.
Absolutely. Yep.